the agenda is to do the same to Trump supporters. The same people that are praising Palestine will praise the leftists, Black Lives Matter, Antifa. Absolutely, it's all. That's why I said it all goes back ultimately to the same thing. And what I don't think some people realize, is that what it ultimately goes back to is the Bible. That's what this is about. It's all throughout the Bible, the war against God. And basically starting in Exodus because the Jewish people were the chosen people. I think that so many people get this wrong because it didn't mean they were the only chosen people. They were the first of many. But people have twisted that, and it becomes this war between the Quran and the Bible. That's why every war goes back to the Bible, ultimately. But how these groups bring it is they use a bunch of, they'll use the poor. They will use the black people. Let's get on board with Black Lives Matter, when really the whole organization, George Soros has always been against the Jews. Yeah, he's Jewish, but something happened. He's just not. You just listen to his interviews. He's heartless. So he's a psychopath. That's the reason he causes so much destruction in the world. That's what happens when somebody as rich as him, who can buy countries, what they are capable of doing. Okay, that's why he's responsible for many of the DAs in the Democrat cities. He funds them. He funds them to run. It's behind AOC getting in. I mean, but he's not the only one, obviously. But ultimately, they create these groups, and they all come together. That the BLM is no different than what ultimately the goal is, which is to annihilate every Jew on the planet. And then when they are done with that, let's for a minute, this is how sick these people are. Because they don't think. Let's look at the whole terrain, put it that way. Because even if they got what they want, which they never will, but even if they were able to annihilate every Jew from the planet, okay, then would come the Christians. I mean, they've already said they want to take out the Christians and Americans, unless you're willing to bow to Allah, okay? Because that's one of their demands, is you have, in terror scream, that you'll only worship Allah. Yeah, that's how it is. And so maybe if you're an American, you can live if you do that. But they pretty much have said they want to just wipe Americans off the map. Not Iran people. Again, separate the people from the terrorist organization governments. So, even if they got all that, they wipe out every Jew on the planet, they wipe out all the Americans, then they're going to have to find somebody else to annihilate. Because they don't even know what they stand for. They don't. They really don't. They only know, at least the sickest of ones, like your sort, they only know that they hate God. They hate God. Anybody that can shoot a baby in a crib is somebody who hates God. Because they hate human life. AOC, her squad, they hate human life. They do. But how they bring it, how those people bring it, is on the heels of the Democrat Party. Yeah, we're about the downtrodden. We're about the poor. We're about wanting to help people that don't, it's hard for them. Look, I've worked for, over 12 years in psych, okay? All I see is more and more resources for mental health, okay? Disappearing because of, and yet we get more and more Democrats in there. So it's not like any of these associations of medicine, nursing, hospital associations are helping anybody that really needs it. They're serving each other, those people at the top of those organizations. So, but ultimately, what they all serve, and I don't think some of them even know it, is what they serve is the war with God. They hate God. They hate the biblical God. It's all throughout the Bible. It's very obvious. It's just this world didn't want to tell people, right? This world didn't want to tell people that, no, the Bible's true. And who would really hate the Bible? Well, people that hate God. So, they would never be happy. So even if they got everybody they wanted to annihilated, they would just start off in their own. They'll off their own as it is now. But they would just start off. There would be no one left, is my point. And then what would they have? Just themselves to say, what, then realize that I'm a totally, not even, I'm beyond a broken soul. I'm a soulless person, and I'm an animal, and I'm a monster. And although I won't say everybody that's marching in the street for the pro-Palestinian cause is a monster, because I think many of them have been manipulated because they don't want to think for themselves, the people that are running that organization, just like the people running BLM, know exactly what their cause is. That's why it took no time at all for BLM to jump on board with terrorists. Anybody that was awake saw what terrorist BLM is. Yet I work with people that are like, oh, well, I'm sorry you don't support BLM. And it's like, I don't say anything, but I so bad have wanted to say, yeah, I don't support terrorists. But they wouldn't hear it. They wouldn't hear it. Again, they believe everything the news says. They believe whatever their professors say. So, yeah, you're never going to have peace as long as you have people like this that so while they want to annihilate an entire race of people, they will bring it on the heels that we care about Black lives, we care about the poor, we care about the Palestinians, we care about this. They care about nothing. They care about nothing. They don't know how to care. That's why I have gone so after the people in the nursing profession at the top, because they show that they align with everything against what a nurse stands for, which is care, and they stand with terrorists. That's how infected everything is. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. It all goes back to the same thing. And what it ultimately, even though tons of people railing for the Palestinians, look, the Palestinians aren't thanking you, college kids, okay? They aren't. Believe me, they aren't. Because they would like the terror to stop. And it's not going to stop until people stop supporting the terrorists. And when you rally with BLM, when you rally with the pro-Palestine groups that aren't for the Palestinians, I guarantee you that the majority, like almost all of the, most of the Palestinians that are innocent in all this would not support your groups. They wouldn't. Again, BLM used black people, just like the Democrats have used the poor their whole party life, and have never done anything for them. But the BLM, they use the black people, they continue to use them, right? Has that helped anybody? No, but it's certainly helped the people at the top of BLM. They live in $6 million mansions. They sure do. Trace the money. And then what they ultimately is, they're like sleeper cells. So BLM immediately, as soon as this thing broke out against Israel, they were immediately on board with the pro-Palestine. Now all of a sudden there's going to be all these marches, right? How convenient, how convenient. Yeah, just like how all the hospitals got on board in 2020 with BLM is the #1 public health crisis, and the nursing associations did. So coordinated, showing you that it's all been terrorists. I know that's hard for nurses to believe, that there can't possibly be terrorists running the nursing organization. No, I don't think they know what they're doing. They just certainly shouldn't be in leadership. But they're being strong-armed. I think they're more than being strong-armed, because they were one of those people in lockstep with this, with the hospitals. So the heads of all these institutions and these unions, they've been on board. They know what they've been on board with. And it's this revolution, which they would be happy to say that, yes, it's a revolution. But what they don't tell you is, yeah, it's about annihilating an entire population of people. And what they're really stupid about is they don't realize that ultimately what Iran doesn't want to tell anybody is that really it's about the war against God, the true biblical God. Now, you can believe in whatever God you want, but at this point it should be clearly obvious, given the Holocaust and so many other things, especially since the Bible seems to be the only true book ever written, factual one that has come true, that the Bible is telling you the truth. And that's what these people hate. They hate the real creator. They hate God. And that's who they're at war with. So that's why it's very important to know what side you're on.